It's Wednesday, July the 8th, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. My name is Pam, and let's begin today's reading with the area deaths. Patricia Ann Foley, age 83, died Monday, July 6th, at Crestwood Care Center in Shelby. Per Patricia's wishes, services will not be observed. Connie I. Bennett Roll, 78, of Mansfield, Ohio, formerly of Fraserburg, Ohio, died Saturday morning, March 14th, at Oak Grove Nursing Home in Mansfield. Memorial services will be held at 11 a.m. Saturday, July 11th, at the Fraserburg Chapel in Wenzel and Shute Funeral Home. Friends may call for 1 hour prior to the service. Dolores J. Schrader, Club, 74, of Mansfield, went to be with her Lord and Savior on Sunday, July 5th. Calling hours will be from 11 to 1, Thursday, July 9th, at Werner Gompf Funeral Services in Mansfield. Funeral services will follow at 1 p.m. in the funeral home. Well, that concludes the Wednesday Mansfield News Journal area death notices. Now, for our first article. Jurors find defendant in baby death case not guilty, by Mark Cottle. In Mansfield, jurors ruled the death of Messiah Taylor was an accident, not a crime. An 8-woman, 4-man jury deliberated for just over an hour and a half Monday before finding Jamie Haynes not guilty on 3 charges related to the death of her 14-day-old son. Haynes, 32, was charged with involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, and endangering children in connection with Messiah's death on July 28, 2018. Haynes fell asleep with Messiah on the couch following a cookout where she drank whiskey and beer. When she woke up the next morning, Messiah was not breathing. According to the autopsy, the cause of death was positional asphyxia. She really just made a grave mistake, jury foreman Frederick Rayberg said. Defense attorney Sean Boone spoke by phone with the News Journal after meeting with Haynes' family following the verdict. I was very confident from the beginning, he said. I believed in the case. I believed in Jamie. Boone patted Hayes on the back as Brent Robinson, Richland County Common Pleas judge, read the verdicts. Messiah's second birthday is going to be next week, the defense attorney said. I'm relieved for Jamie. She's going to be able to at least put this chapter behind her. Obviously, she's never going to get Messiah back, but she'll be able to move on with her grieving without having to worry about this. If convicted of the most serious charge, involuntary manslaughter, Haynes could have received up to 11 years in prison. Rayberg explained the jury's thinking. It was definitely the letter of the law, he said. We couldn't find her guilty. Prosecutors accused Haynes of not caring for Messiah's safety after a night of drinking. Haynes testified that she got her son out of an upstairs crib and took him downstairs with her. She changed and fed him, and they fell asleep. She said a second scenario happened a few hours later. Again, Haynes and Messiah fell asleep on the couch. Rayberg said jurors did not believe Haynes was under the influence. She seemed sober enough to take care of her child, he said. Rayberg said jurors found the 3 charges very similar. He added most of them had children of their own. There were definitely some emotions in there, he said. At the same time, the jury foreman said some of the jurors had slept with their own babies. People kind of agreed that they've done it too without the consequences Miss Haynes had, Rayberg said. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, Haynes' loved ones could not be in the courtroom. They watched the proceeding on closed-circuit TV in the courthouse basement. It's been a long road for everybody, Boone said. They stuck by her the entire time. First Assistant Prosecutor Jody Schumacher and Assistant Prosecutor Olivia Boyer handled the case for the state. It was a tough case. I absolutely concede that, Schumacher said. It's not our job to seek wins. It's our job to seek justice. We have to trust that the system worked and that justice worked. Boyer added that she hoped the News Journal coverage of the trial illustrated the dangers of co-sleeping. According to experts at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital, a baby should sleep alone, on its back, and in a crib. Jurors agreed the case was tragic, but not criminal. Well, this next article is entitled PPP Helps Retain Over 7,000 Jobs. 150 Richland County businesses receive from 150,000 to 5 million by Monroe Trombley. Small businesses in Mansfield were authorized this spring to receive between $46 million and $115 million in emergency loans as part of the $2.2 trillion coronavirus relief bill. The Trump administration on Monday revealed the names and other details about businesses that tapped into the $660 billion Paycheck Protection Program, which was created to keep businesses afloat when states began enacting shutdowns to stem the spread of the novel coronavirus. The identifying information from the U.S. Treasury Department and the Small Business Administration was limited to businesses that received loans of more than $150,000. Nearly 150 companies in Richland County's largest city received loans between $150,000 and $5 million. Only the ranges of loan amounts were included, not specific figures. 3 companies in Mansfield, J Industries, Millark Industries, Nanogate North America, were approved for loans between $2 million and $5 million. Other businesses, such as Graham Chevrolet Cadillac, Mansfield Engineering Components, Ohio Valley Manufacturing, Performance Food Corporation, Skybox Packaging, Taylor Metal Products, Milleron Iron and Metal, PR Machine Works, Moritz Concrete, also got approvals. Many nonprofits, civic, and religious organizations in the city were green-lit for loans as well, including the Center for Individual and Family Services, Family Life Counseling and Psychiatric Services, Mansfield Urban Minority Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Outreach Program, North End Community Improvement Collaborative, Richland New Hope St. Peter's Parish, the Mansfield Area Community Y, Mansfield Christian School, Discovery School, First Assembly Church of God, and Renaissance Performing Arts Association. Over 7,000 jobs in Mansfield were retained due to the loans, according to the data. The complete list is available for download at the Treasury Department's website. About 22 companies and nonprofits in Ontario received loans between $150,000 and $10 million, retaining an estimated 1,052 jobs, while 702 jobs were retained in Shelby. In a separate disclosure on Monday, the SBA also revealed that nearly 800 small business loans of less than $150,000 each were approved for companies in Mansfield, though those recipients were not named. Those loans pumped another $29 million into the city, helping preserve nearly 3,600 jobs. Thanks to those smaller loans, nearly 100 companies in Ontario received about $3.5 million in total, shoring up over 500 jobs, while 100 companies in Shelby received over $4 million, helping preserve over 600 jobs. Nearly $800,000 was approved for Lexington companies, preserving 132 jobs. The Paycheck Protection Program provides forgivable loans to companies that have 500 or fewer employees, provided they meet certain requirements, such as using the majority of the money to keep workers on the payroll. The program's first round of money, which was $349 billion, was gone in less than 2 weeks. There is still $130 billion left in the program's second round. The application deadline was recently extended from June 30th to August 8th. So far, banks have made about 4.9 million loans Because of various state guidelines, this year's festival will look a little different, Myers acknowledged, citing food vendors as an example. They have their own set of guidelines and rules that they have to follow for the state, he said. We're working on learning all of those so we can better assist them. But that's part of their job. So you're going to see more cleanliness, more hand sanitizer, things like that. We're also working on getting hand sanitizing stations where before we just always provided the restrooms. A lot of stuff is going to be happening fast over the next couple of days as we discuss and learn and determine the best path to take. Current directives from the governor and director of health prohibit parades or outdoor musical entertainment, but festival planners will continue to accept parade applications in the hopes and anticipation that the state will reverse its rules and allow the parade to continue. In June, the Bratwurst Festival joined a lawsuit followed by music festival organizers against the former and interim directors of the Ohio Department of Health. The suit alleges Dr. Amy Acton, the state's former health director, is violating their First Amendment rights with her statewide ban on music festivals. The federal suit contends Acton is acting outside the scope of her office, and it's unfair to block the events while mass protests against police brutality are permitted. The first hour of each day of the festival will be dedicated to elderly people and those who feel more at risk, the release states. Additional guidelines will be released later. Committee members will be working to determine what part of the festival will go on as normal and what parts will need to be modified or canceled. Updates will be posted at the festival's Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Bratwurstfestival, and its website, BucyrusBratwurstFestival.com. We truly have thought through this, and we do care about everybody's concerns, and we're attempting to put on the best event as safely as possible, Myers said. And if people do not feel comfortable, I stress that we're not trying to force them to go. We want them to stay home and feel safe if that's what they want to do. And we'll be happy to see them next year. Our next article is titled Most Wanted, Accused Murderer Arrested. In Mansfield, a 23-year-old man accused of murder in Fort Wayne, Indiana, is in custody. Further details on the arrest of Martell Weaver were not immediately available. He was being sought in connection with the shooting death of a 22-year-old woman on June 24th, according to TV station WPTA 21 in Fort Wayne. First responders found the woman in a driveway suffering from gunshot. Brown is 6'1" and 180 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. He has ties to Mansfield. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of any of the fugitives is asked to call the Richland County Division of the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force at 419-774-3565 or 866-4-WANTED. People also can text the keyword WANTED and send a tip to 847-411 or go to a link at usmarshals.gov/district/OH-N/fugitives. Reward money is available, but tipsters also can remain anonymous. Weaver served in the Allen County Work Release and the Home Detention Program, the TV station reported. The Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force says Weaver was spotted in Mansfield on Monday and has ties to the area. A reward was being offered for information leading to his arrest. He also was wanted on a probation violation. Back in 2018, Weaver pleaded guilty to battery in a 2017 incident where he shot a man in the leg during a confrontation, WPTA 21 reported. He was sentenced to 3 years to be originally charged of assault. Weaver is considered to be armed and dangerous. The other two most wanted fugitives are holdovers. Jeffrey Siren, 31, is wanted on a charge of failure to register as a sex offender. He's 6'3" and 170 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. Siren has ties to Mansfield. Avery Brown, 25, is being sought on a probation violation. His original charge was having weapons while under disability. Well, that is a tough article. Let's move on. Our next article is titled Madison Township Trustees OK Fire Levy Renewal by Al Lawrence. Madison Township Trustees approved the first of 2 resolutions Monday night to put a $4 million renewal levy for the fire department on the fall ballot. The resolution asked the Richland County Auditor's Office to certify the amount of money the levy would raise annually. The $4 million rate will continue to cost property owners $4 per 1,000 of tax valuation if voters approve the renewal, which would go into effect January 1, 2021. It's the main operating levy for the fire department, says Trustee Kathy Swank, who serves as the board's liaison with the department. Without it, the fire department doesn't exist. The 4 mil 5-year levy was first passed in 2006 and has been renewed twice. The township also has a 5.5 mil and a 3.5 mil continuing fire department operating levies and a 1.75 mil fire equipment and repair levy. The resolution says the funds generated by the renewal levy are needed for maintaining firefighter staffing, including payment to part-time and volunteer firefighters, and the employer's retirement contribution, or to provide fire suppression and rescue services or ambulances, paramedic or other emergency medical services operated by the department. This is not a new tax, this is a renewal, says Trustee Chairman Dan Fletcher. Trustees also voted to award separate contracts for the township's road paving and chip and seal programs this summer. Shelley and Sands Inc. of Zanesville was awarded a $162,555 contract for the paving work, while the Shelley Company of Thornville received a $91,281 contract for the chip and seal work. Fletcher said the paving contract can be awarded but not signed until the Ohio legislature approves funding for the Ohio Public Works program. A majority of the roads are being used as the township's local match for an OPWC grant for an Annandale Avenue culvert project. Fletcher abstained from voting on both the paving and the chip and seal contracts because of the way the township road levies funds were being divided to do the work. I want to go on record one more time that I was opposed to the paving program being altered, he said. The road department had presented a chip and seal program for the township, and it got altered and more paving got added, and I need to be a little more vocal about it. Former trustee David Spain again asked the board to meet with residents from the neighborhood off Stewart Road to discuss ways to pave the road next year rather than have it chip and sealed this year. However, Swank told Spain, we'd be breaking the Sunshine Law, or the Ohio Open Public Meeting Law, if we meet with you. Fletcher pointed out that trustees did talk with the group about the issue during a meeting in late June. Trustee Jim Hauser added that since then, trustees individually looked at the bids, evaluated the companies that the township was dealing with, and was ready to award bids. Paving work will be done this year on Annandale, Berger, Fairfax, and Warner Avenues, Express View and Dresden Drives, and Pulver List Road. Chip and seal coating work will be done on 5th Avenue, Hickory Lane, and Stewart, Poth and Hahn Roads. During administrative reports, Hauser told the board that asbestos abatement has been done and officials are waiting for state approval to demolish the township's owned former business building next to the main fire station. Trustees also agreed to build a shed to house township records. On another topic, Fletcher asked the board if they wanted to deal with the issue of zoning inspector Wayne Liggett being paid for the time he attends trustee meetings as part of his 20-hour work week. He said that while Liggett is doing a great job, it's an issue that needs to be changed because the road supervisor is not asked to attend and the fire chief is a salaried employee and is not paid extra for attending. Hauser said the several hours Liggett spends during meeting nights is advisable because there are often questions that come up during public comments that can be answered immediately because he's there. I don't have any problem, he added. Well, our next article, Pleasance Pratt wins HOJGA championship at Marion Country Club, by Zachary Holden. Pleasance Alex Pratt, Brock Montgomery of Upper Sandusky, and Anderson Reiser of Marysville were crowned winners in the Heart of Ohio Junior Golf Association, or the HOJA, tournament held at the Marion Country Club on Monday. Pratt's 73 with a 38-35 topped the 16 to 18 division as he collected 7 pars and 5 birdies, while Montgomery's 82, a 43-39, paced the 13 to 15 group. Reiser's 50 ruled the 12 and under 9-hole round. Spencer Keller, of Galion was second in the oldest group with a 75 of 39-36, followed by Mallory Graham of Mount Gilead, who edged into third with a 77. River Valley's Tyler Brook with an 85 was seventh. Mason Reinhardt with an 86 and Nathan Newell with an 89 of Pleasant right behind him. Harding's Jacob Bieshler got a 92 with 10th place. Hunter Yancey, 97, of Pleasant got 12th. Bucyrus's Carson Kimmel with a 98, 13th place. Buckeyes Central Logan Neese, 101, came in 15th, and Elgin's Hayden Gruber with 115 was in 16th place. Elgin's Isaac Dillon shot 83 runner-up in the 13 to 15 group. Galleon's Logan Keller placed 4th with an 87, and his teammate Nathan Barr 5th with a 91. Mount Gilead's Grant Bentley with a 94 was 6th. Pleasant's Mari Murphy with a 96 was 7th. North Union's Taden Peck with a 98 was 10th. Ramus Smith with 101 of Harding was 12th. Colonel Crawford's Lucy Myers and Galleon's Carson Walker tied for 15th with 112. Winford's Jordan Allspeck with 113 was in 17th place. River Valley's Lane Carnegie with 117 was in 18th place. Harding Connor McCoy with 118 was in 19th place, and Pleasant's Anna Songer with 123 came in 20th. William Reiser of Marysville closed in behind his brother at 52 for second place in the 12 and under, while Grayson Keller of Buckeye Valley and Britton Potcotter of Ridgedale tied for third with 54s. Colton Kreider with a 57 and Alex Yancey with a 64 of Pleasant were 6th and 7th. North Union's Jensen Stover with a 70 was 8th, and Pleasant's Matt Murphy with a 72 placed 9th. The next HOGA event is set for July 16th at Kings Mill Golf Course in Waldo. Ohio lawmaker Howes has tested positive for COVID-19 by Jesse Balmert. In Columbus, Ohio Representative Stephanie Howes shared Monday that she had tested positive for the novel coronavirus, making her the first Ohio lawmaker known to have COVID-19. Howes, a Democrat from Cleveland, told the Inquirer that she sought out a coronavirus test because she wanted to visit her mother in assisted living. I was not comfortable seeing her without the test, she said. Because she wasn't presenting any symptoms at the time, she said it took 2 weeks to obtain a test. It shouldn't be this hard, especially for people who are trying to be proactive, Howes said. Ultimately, Howes was able to be tested over the holiday weekend. On Sunday, Howes learned she had tested positive for COVID-19. On Monday, she released a video on Twitter. Howes said she didn't know where she contracted COVID-19. She had last visited Capitol Square for a June 19th meeting more than 2 weeks ago. The Ohio House of Representatives last met on June 11th. Howes contacted the Ohio House's Human Resources Director and those she had been around in the past 2 weeks. Per House protocol, any staff who had been in close proximity of House for more than 15 minutes would be notified and sent home for 14 days, House Republican spokeswoman Taylor Jack said. You go back and forth if you want to say anything or not, says Howes, who is president of the Ohio Legislative Black Caucus in her video. What I do know is I have an obligation, being a public figure, to spread this information. Howes' symptoms, which included cough, a loss of taste, and a loss of smell, were pretty mild. In her video, Howes encouraged listeners to take care of one another, wear a mask, and encourage others to do the same. What's the harm, Howes said, of requiring masks? At the end of the day, you have to wear a seatbelt. Masks are like seatbelts. It's just in case. Let's move on to local briefs. Ontario School District gearing up for upcoming school year. Ontario School Superintendent Lisa Carmichael said that they are gearing up for a school year that will have challenges not experienced in the past due to COVID-19. Carmichael says they can't say with certainty what the year will look like, but the health and safety of students and staff will be their top priority. We're working diligently on plans to reopen and restart our schools in the fall of 2020, she notes in a letter to parents, staff, and the community. It will not be possible to meet every expectation, but our primary goal has to be to find a balance that will allow us to effectively provide a learning environment that maximizes academic potential while keeping the students and staff of our schools safe and healthy. Carmichael says relationships will remain the central focus of all back-to-school scenarios and that all students will work with teachers. She says they are partnering with local city and business leaders, parents, and staff to develop a plan and prepare a variety of scenarios that will follow the guidance of Governor Mike DeWine, the Ohio Department of Education, and Richland Public Health. Crestview School Board to hold a special session. In Ashland, the Crestview Local Board of Education will hold a special board meeting at 6 p.m. today in the Crestville Middle School Assembly Room at 1575 Ohio 96 in Ashland. The board will enter into executive session for discussion on employment and then return for discussion of reopening of the 2020-2021 school year. Due to the current events with COVID-19 pandemic and social distancing, the meeting is closed to the public, but will be streamed via the Crestview High School Facebook page. Instructions to view will be posted on the district's social media. Well, volunteers are sought for a Saturday food distribution. In Mansfield, the nonprofit G. Tate and Associates Community Services and Matthew 25 have partnered to bring fresh food into the North End community. Due to the coronavirus, a plan has been developed to deliver food boxes to people and have them placed on their porches or at their doors. The goal is to deliver 100 boxes of food on Saturday. Volunteers to drive and deliver boxes to individual homes are still needed. There are also spots available for individuals who need a food box. Anyone who is interested in participating in this community outreach event is asked to contact Jerron L. Tate at gltate26@aol.com or call 419-512-5487. Callers should specify if they'd like to volunteer or are requesting to have a box delivered. Well, Madison trustees to hold a special meeting. The Madison Township trustees will hold a special meeting at 6 p.m. this evening at the Madison Township Hall to discuss the 2021 township budget, storage building for records, and, in executive session, the compensation of employees in the road department. Well, my friends, this concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for July 8th. It's a hot one today, so stay in if you can, and be safe, be blessed, and make it a great day.